Hello, my friends, and welcome to the weekend special. Second weekend in a row that I've put out a conversation with Christian, Finnegan, and Ophira Eisenberg, two of my favorite comedians and friends joining me together. The threesome, always great. We talked about Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all those moms out there, and why, as Christian and Ophira explain, if your mother's no longer with us, it's, well, a little bit different. We also talked about becoming a father when you're 79 years old, as actor Robert De Niro just did, what it feels like and why we get scammed, why the audience of this show is so thoughtful and good, CNN hosting Donald Trump, and more. I hope you like it. If you do, go subscribe to Christian's music newsletter, New Music for Olds, and Ophira's podcast, Parenting is a Joke, if you haven't already. And speaking of things, if you haven't done them already, if you're not a paid subscriber to this show, I can't do it without your support. It's a free show, but it isn't cheap. So go to standupwithpete.com right now or patreon.com/PeteDominic. All right, comedians, Christian Finnegan, Ophira Eisenberg. Finnegan, let's do it.
And Finnegan, Christian, Ophira, hello.
Hi.
Wow. Pretty intense entry there.
I like to come in with a lot of hosty energy.
It felt more like
I liked it too.
all those commercials for like funny cars, grave digger, bone picker versus grave digger.
We're turning the entire Madison Square Garden to one big mud pit. That one?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Stand up with Pete Dominic.
Sunday.
Stand up with Pete Dominic. Sunday. Oh, Finnegan. And it's just us. Wait a second.
Yeah, get Pete Co on that.
We will. And speaking of Pete Co, as you both know, what happened to my daughter, I want to talk about this with you guys, because have you been scammed? Daughter gave $5,000 to scammers. Luckily, amazing, mostly listeners, but, our friends replenished the money. It's the most amazing thing. One day she learns how evil people are. The next day she learns how amazing people are. I said to my dad, Dad, I didn't see you donating to the GoFundMe that, of course, I didn't start or promote. And my dad goes, I think some of that money was mine.
Also, you should, but let's be honest, you take that money from her. There's no lesson here.
Right.
The next time she loses money, she's going to be like, Dad, just ask your listeners for more.
Yeah.
Hey,
right?
She should get a 50% return at most.
Well, what do you think the threshold is for her? Like, if she gambles away $200, she loses $200 in blackjack in Vegas, GoFundMe or no?
No.
I'm going to say,
hey guys,
no.
Hey guys, Ava lost $200 in a bad bet. Could you guys hook her?
She at a dogfighting ring, she lost $200. Can you help her out?
I think is fair.
Plus, we all know that GoFundMe is socialized healthcare, so don't muddy the waters.
Well, I thought it was up until someone started it for my daughter, getting scammed. I was like, I thought GoFundMe was for people who didn't have health insurance or lost their house in a fire, not for someone who got a phone call that, and was told it was the FBI and give us all your money. I didn't think it was for those, but it was amazingly.
Your listeners are good people.
Yes, mostly it was them, and that we were all very, very just blown away by it. Have you?
That's, I will say, and I'm not trying to kiss up to your listeners, but I have never met, or, when I say met, like interacted with a stand-up with Pete Dominic listener who has not just been like a true blue citizen. Like they're just uniformly like nice. They're nice people, which is very, I'm very suspicious of that.
Never said before about people that you don't meet that just enjoy something from afar, right?
Very rarely said about podcast listeners. Generally speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's very nice. They appreciate that, I'm sure. Everybody listening. My question to you is, have you ever been scammed out of anything, money, or as any of your loved ones or friends or anything?
When I was like 22 years old, a boyfriend and I took the train from Montreal to New Orleans for a fun hangout. And we walked down Bourbon Street as like little, Canadians they're like, wow, this is so exciting. People are drinking on the street. And this guy, like we just got scammed on the spot. This guy came up to us and said, give me $20. If you give me $20, I'll tell you. No, let me think. He says, I bet I can tell you where you got your shoes at. And if I'm right, you have to give me $20. And we were like, what? And he's like, yeah, I bet I can tell you where you got your shoes at. And if I'm right, you give me $20. And so we said, okay, like idiots. And he goes, you got your shoes at Bourbon Street. Because we were standing on Bourbon Street. Yeah. Yep, that was it. And my boyfriend gave him $20.
Doesn't count.
Yep.
That's not getting scammed.
Yeah. And and then I just
sounds like you got scammed by dating that guy.
Yeah. And then I had the thing where I was at a pub in London, and these two guys came in and they were doing this whole thing where they're like, I got to show you this picture on my iPhone. It's so funny. And they were laughing and laughing and laughing. And I got kind of enwrapped in it. And then they left and my purse was gone.
Oh, okay. Okay, that counts. Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's like not exactly like the scam where I was still like involved. Yeah, in a thing.
Right. It's not like a David Mamet movie. It's more just thievery, just straight up thievery.
Yeah. Right. Like little theatrical thievery.
Well, Christian, anything like a phone call or an email? I just got an email that said
my dad got scammed in a similar fashion to your daughter, and he was super upset at himself for it. And I think that's obviously the money is a big deal and it can ruin your life or whatever, but it's also just the knowledge of the anger that you feel at yourself for having been scammed, which is, this is maybe a terrible comparison, but on a much smaller level, similar to people I know who have experienced sexual abuse or things like that it's like, in addition to the actual trauma, it's also that feeling afterwards, that not being able to trust, and that feeling of what did I do, and is this somehow my fault, and and like on a different level. I'm not comparing the two, but he had a lot of embarrassment about that. And as for me personally, I got lucky. I did do the stupid 3-card money thing down on Canal Street, like my first month in New York. Like, this is totally easy. Like, not realizing that the people who were like losing were like in on it, that they're looking. It's like, this dude's an idiot. I'll jump in there and I'm going to fucking, clean up. And I knew immediately. And then one other time there was a guy in Astor Place who, it was in the middle of winter and he had no coat on, and he was this very yuppie dude with like a high ponytail, and he was like shivering. He's like, man, I got locked out of my apartment. Could you possibly just give me like $20 so I could like take a cab to my girlfriend's house? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, man, no problem. And $20 at that point was a lot of money to me. And increasingly more so now too. No, but and then like a week later, I was walking through and the same dude came up doing the same thing. And I was like, you motherfucker. And he didn't even get upset or whatever. He literally just turned. Is like, oh, I already got you. Like, he just moved on. Like, oh, moving on to the next person.
Oh yeah. Back Bay Boston train station. There's a guy there that I saw every single time. I was taking that train for a while, and he had a very emotional story, like crying, like it's so unsettling. And I saw him and I felt so bad for him, and I gave him money. And then the next time I was there, it was exactly the same. And I was just like, not to say that person doesn't still deserve it. Like that they don't have needs, but it's just like the feeling of,
like, how could I have been so silly? And, and I think, again, I think I've probably said this on your podcast before, so I apologize, but having, been related to sort of serial fabulists, it is, everybody thinks that, like, I think movies like Hollywood has conditioned us to think of like con men as being like these geniuses, that they're just smarter than the rest of people. They're not. They're just shameless. They don't have any embarrassment. They have no gag reflex. They're like missing that thing. There's that thing, like, there's only so many lies I can tell before they start to back up on me. And I feel like embarrassed, and it starts to show in my face. And, I think most of us are honest because it's just easier to keep track of it. You know what I mean? But like, people who are scammers, they just don't have that. They don't have that thing that makes that sort of gag reflex that makes them feel uncomfortable being full of shit.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people say,
cool.
If you're a good person, you're more likely to fall for something because you couldn't believe. I mean, it's a nice spin. I don't know if it's true. My dad said that about Ava. He's like, she's such a good person. It's probably why she just didn't believe people were bad. She thought they were trying to protect her. And he goes, that would never happen to your sister, Julia.
Wow. Well, you got one of each.
Have you told her that?
You've got one of each.
No, I hope they don't listen. So here, I want to ask you both, speaking of family, it's Mother's Day. this weekend. Neither of you both lost your moms. And I think about that every Mother's Day.
I'm hoping to find her any day now.
Oh, I didn't know she was still alive.
She's just lost. No, I'm joking. I'm just. Just you said like I lost her, like she was like a purse at the mall.
Every like Ophira's purse that got stolen. Every time, Father's Day, Mother's Day, you put it out there. You wish people happy Father, and then I'm always sensitive to that. I'm always like, oh God, it's got to be really hard for people who've lost their mom or dad, especially if they were really close or was recent. So what are we supposed to do? How do you feel about that, Ophira?
Okay, very fraught, and I will say that I'm very mad. What I get, which really pisses me off, is that every brand that I've ever bought like a face towel from is sending me hey, get your mom this thing, get your mom. And I just think that these bots are out there gathering our information constantly, specifically to market and sell us stuff. And they can't figure this out. They cannot figure out that this person has got, they are designed to figure me out, to sell to me, but they can't figure it out. And this year, and I just would like to read you one if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm replying to the brands individually with emails. So I wrote
That's
this
awesome.
one. I wrote, Dear Nordstrom Rack, thank you so much for your last chance and final days Mother's Day email. If anyone knows about last chance and final days, it's my mom because she's dead.
Oh. That is rich. That's good stuff.
So I've been writing them one at a time, and it's very cathartic. So that's, and I will say, like, when my mother died 3 months before that, my dog died, and Chewy, everyone buys their pet food from Chewy.
Yeah, I do.
And Chewy also takes your information, but they put your dog's fucking name on it. So it's like, Mocha needs more food. So I also wrote them. I was like, Mocha is dead. Stop it.
Mocha needs no more food.
Stop triggering me with your manipulative marketing.
Christian, how do you feel when people are throwing around Happy Mother's Day?
There's nothing in this life that is more boring than hearing a middle-aged dude complain about his mother. But I will say, as I've mentioned in the past, I had a complicated relationship with my mom. And quite frankly, it has become much easier for me. Mother's Day has become much less awkward for me since she passed away. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to her. Obviously, I miss her in many ways. But it was more uncomfortable for me when she was alive, when people would say, like, are you seeing your mom, or what did you get your mom? I was like, well, my mom and I haven't spoken in a number of years. So I don't, I don't know what to tell you. And so that made that more uncomfortable. Now I can just say that she's dead and people feel bad and move on, which is sort of the way I like it. Well, not the feeling bad, but just the moving on. Like, it kind of puts a little bit of a, like, all right, conversation over. You know what I mean? So
my
that's
mom,
kind of the way I prefer.
My mom is very much alive. She's a big fan of when you two join me. So could you wish my mom, Mary, happy Mother's Day?
No, I hate all moms, Pete. I thought I made that very clear.
I should take it back. No. Take it back.
Mary, happy Mother's Day. Okay. I'm glad you have a very fine son who birthed a scammer. A scamstress. What is it? A scammy.
Well, you're talking about my wife who birthed, but you are a mom, and so do you partake? Are you doing anything?
We'll go on a walk. I like it pretty simple. I don't want any stuff. Yeah. I did say to my son, are you guys making any Mother's Day crafts in school? And he goes, no. And I was like, what? Okay.
Like, that's like an easy day for a teacher. Like, why wouldn't you do that? That's like movie day. I
also feel like it's like
probably for the exact reason we're talking about. Like, it's so fraught. You can't do that. You can't assume everyone.
Yeah.
Ophira's like, nah, we're not. I don't even care about it. We're just going for a walk. But I did demand subtly that my son remember that it's Mother's Day by asking him if he's doing anything.
Actually, I will tell you, I asked for a very pragmatic gift and I got it, and it's great, which is I have all of I don't know if you have clothes that don't quite fit you right. I don't know if you have.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Ophira.
Okay. So I have a lot of clothes that I like that don't fit me right. And I found basically someone that comes over to your house will pin up all the stuff that doesn't fit you right, take it away, sew it, and bring it back. And I said, I'm going to make this all happen. Could you please pay for this?
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a nice,
so
that's a very specific. And that photo shoot you did, is that emblematic of it? Because you posted a photo shoot.
Oh, no, that's actually, I put a photo shoot. That's what my friend, my elementary school friend in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, is a fashion designer and in New York and internationally, but she has a few stores in New York. And so we're friends. And she was like, for Mother's Day, I want to do a fashion shoot with you.
That's awesome. I haven't seen this.
I thought of, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was going to bring up the photos so we could make fun of not what she's wearing. Every outfit's really great, but at least two of the poses, there's a lot of material there. And I'll just describe one. And one of them, she's in like a smart suit, I want to say, really snappy, really looks great as Ophira always does. But Christian, she's sitting on that little fence that in New York City that they have around trees that dogs piss on. And she's sitting there and kind of like leaning forward with like her legs open and she's just kind of leaning in. And it's like, I just want to be like, who sits on that thing? In that beautiful outfit. She's just sitting there.
Not one of the spiky ones, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, baby. There was a lot going on in that.
Okay. Now, one more thing regarding...
Wait, can I just say very quickly, I was joking before. I did want to wish your mom happy Mother's Day. And I say in all seriousness, if there's one thing I can just say about you, Pete, is that you are well parented. You have a very healthy respect for people, and you listen, and you are kind, and that doesn't come from nowhere. And so I can only assume that your parents have done a wonderful job. So happy Mother's Day to you, Mary.
That's very kind. It's probably my brother. He mostly raised me, but that's still nice. Very nice. Very nice. I appreciate it.
I was raised by the original 5 MTV VJs, so it's not.
And I appreciate that. It's very nice.
I was raised by my imagination.
Oh,
you have to in Canada.
I did. I was going to make a Canada joke. So, when is it too late to become a parent, specifically a dad? I think, Ophira, I saw you posting about this. Bob De Niro, I call him Bob. He has become a father for the 7th time. I don't know how many women with, but he's 79 and his wife or partner just had a baby. And I don't know where to start with that, Ophira. I don't, how is anybody? Like what they do to
racehorses. This is really, these men are retired racehorses where they put them out to pasture and just gather their sperm.
I don't know enough about, I guess, physiology, biology. Like I guess men can be fertile forever, their whole lives. The seed never.
The doctor, his wife said to him, was like, do you have any semen left? And he said, a little bit. Sorry, that's all.
Loved it.
That's all.
Loved it. You talking to me?
I think once you have starred in a movie called Bad Granddad, if you start in a movie where you've played a granddad of any good or bad, I think you should take your testicles off the shelf.
I
put them on.
I just think it's amazing he could get it out of him. So I guess that's the feat.
Can you imagine
that
how much work and effort was put into that? And no offense, but just that face hovering above you.
Oh God! When you said, "Can you imagine how hard?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah, he got hard.
But I mean, just to be serious for a second, like it is morally repugnant to purposely, like I don't know. I find that ridiculous to put your child in the place to never have your dad. I guess
if you're wealthy like that, though, it's not like this kid's not going to be taken care of. His oldest son is 51. So he has a 51-year-old brother.
And the baby, his dad will be dead soon, but the baby will be able to be raised, as you were by MTV VJs, by all of his real dad's movies.
Let's hope that, I think, we have this idea, well, money will take care of it. True. there is another aspect. It's like, oh, there's all these people. They'll take care of it. It's possible. But you know what's one thing I find? None of that actually matters. Like the family might not want to, and the money doesn't do enough. So yeah, it is pretty. You hope the mother is so dead set on this plan that she doesn't like, she's aware and doesn't care. That's what you want.
Right. Well,
yeah. The money, I feel like the money doesn't like we all know those people who were raised with tons of money. I'm sure they had access to everything, but
my argument,
this baby must have come out middle-aged. Like it must have been like
my only thing about parenting that I generally always believe is if you're trying to be a good parent, the best thing you can do, because you're going to make tons of mistakes and maybe you'll never have any money to support, but the best thing you can do is just try to be there as much as you can. Try to be with your kid. Present. Yes. Literally be there as much as you can. And this doesn't seem like a good plan this is not totally related, but my dad has this mantra, this parenting mantra, which he reminds himself of, which I think is actually kind of a true thing, especially for dads, for men with children. When your child is young, don't just stand there, do something. And when your child gets older, don't just do something, stand there. Which is true, that it's like what your kid needs as they get older is like consistency and availability and not being meddlesome. It's just being like solid and around. What did your dad think about like at what point you shouldn't have a GoFundMe for your kid? Like, because that seemed like I didn't interfere. It wasn't my thing, but maybe I should have stood there. Okay, so last thing, I just want to talk a little politics with you guys. Well, if it's politics even. This week, two big things kind of happening. One, the trial there is in New York, right, with E. Jean Carroll and Trump. And we saw that in the deposition, Trump said, for millions of years, famous people could grab you by the pussy, fortunately or unfortunately, which I'm like, this is not a normal, there's no way that anybody could think that would be a smart thing to say. So what do you think about that trial ending and, the kind of the verdict and the conclusion with E. Jean Carroll and Donald Trump and all around that?
I would just like to say off the top that I've always considered pussy grabbing, something that you either have a good fortune or bad fortune towards. So I'm glad those words were used.
Yeah.
It's all about fortune.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I tried to almost as a joke think of where it would be good fortune to be grabbed in any way like that. I just couldn't. Like, I suppose if you got grabbed like that and then someone gave you millions of dollars immediately, you'd be like, oh, yeah, it was worth it. And that's kind of no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like if you assault somebody and then you immediately give them a ton of money, then I might be like,
I'm sure there's a lot of $8 blue check marks now who would be like, oh, a lot of women want to be, if it was Brad Pitt, they'd be into it. That whole thing.
Oh,
yeah. Nope.
No.
That meme where those like, they'll show the ugly guy and the handsome guy and then how it comes out different depending, whatevs.
Yes.
Any thoughts about that case though? Anything else, Christian?
I mean, I don't want to blame the society because I'm no different, but it's like, just think if 15 years ago, somebody told you that one day a former president is going to be found financially liable for sexual assault. You would think, wow, that's crazy. That's going to be the biggest news story in the world. And that person's life, his life will be over from a public perspective, and anyone surrounding him, a career surrounding him will be decimated by this. It'll be the biggest scandal in the entire world. And now it's like a 6-hour story.
Right.
Yeah. It's, and again, I'm part of it too, but it is just, it's crazy how just the Overton window has shifted.
Yeah, simpler said, the man has admitted to doing it and is found guilty of doing it, and he still has a tremendous amount of support for anything, like much less president of the United States. A frighteningly large amount of support. Just hasn't changed, I guess.
I know.
My views on that is just like, this is be clear, this is who we are. Like, a lot of people are okay with that. A lot of people in that audience, pivoting to the CNN town hall, laughed about it. I don't know people like who would laugh about such a thing in this case.
The only principle left is we win, you lose. That's it. There's no you have to, it's purely a show of aggression and force, and that we determine what's right and wrong, not facts, and that is what Trump really unleashed in a lot of our family members and neighbors and friends, former friends, is just this knowledge of like, oh shit, like the rules don't matter unless we say they do. Right. And if you say 2 and 2 equal 4, and I say 2 and 2 equals 5, it's a question of who says it louder and who gets and who beats the other one. That determines what 2 and 2 equals.
And just that editorial became the truth. There's not your opinion. Your opinion now is the truth. Whatever your opinion is the truth. It's not an opinion based on
because the people who are arguing opposite me annoy me, and that is
enough
license for me to do whatever I want. Well, you started it by being annoying to me, and so therefore I can do anything and say anything.
What do you think about CNN hosting the town hall? Any thoughts about that? I mean, he is the front runner in the Republican race.
Yeah, it's very natural to have an hour plus of free airtime to a politician 7 months before the first primary in his party. That's a totally normal thing.
Yeah. Talk about CNN really is, well, they got to do something, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, people need to know, what are this guy's positions? Like, how does he feel about the estate tax? Like, where is he on, the
public works, transportation?
Yeah. The oil reserves. Like, where is he on that? It's very obvious what it was, and it's pathetic, and they deserve every bit of scoring they're getting.
Are you guys really worried about all of the new migrants seeking asylum coming across the border? You live in New York City; they're coming there. Apparently, your mayor in New York is going to send 3 of them up to where we live, 30 minutes away in Rockland County. And people where I live lost their fucking minds that they were sending them here. They were going to pay for their hotel and everything for a little while. And oh my God, everybody went crazy, and all the politicians just dehumanize these people, and it's just really sad. Are you guys are you worried about all the migrants that are going to be coming across?
You mean like I can't wait. They got to be better than these other people.
But I mean, it's like that's the kind of thing that makes people vote for a fascist. I mean, like I do worry that, well, on the one hand, we have this guy who's a liar and a sexual assaulter and a fucking idiot, and he hires criminals and he's surrounded by criminality, and a second term could very easily break America. But on the other hand, you have immigrants. You know what I mean? As if that's going to suddenly stop. Yeah. It's.
I didn't know if you were talking about Biden or Trump there, Christian.
Oh, yeah, the Biden crime family.
Biden crime family. On the next to Finnegan, the Biden crime family. It just has a certain ring to it. It doesn't sound very like if you know them, you're like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you're like,
What did
they do?
Like Biden's brother or whatever was skimming some money using his relationship with Joe Biden to make it. Would not shock me at all. Would also not shock me to say that every relative of every politician in the past 300 years in America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well
if you can make the case, make it great.
Yeah. Trading on your famous loved one's name is a thing that probably most humans do, except for Nick Cage. His name is Coppola, and he didn't want any.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I heard he didn't want any advantages.
He didn't want to get part of that crazy wine scam.
Let's make no mistake, though. It's like he definitely was trading in on being a Coppola, even if he changed his name. Yeah. It's like the people who needed to know knew.
Well, apparently the truth is, the reason I read about it, because he's just on 60 Minutes, the reason he actually changed his name from Coppola to Cage is that on every set he'd been on, everybody made fun of him so much.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. It was not some noble.
I have to go. Bullies your family. Doesn't matter who you are.
I have to go for a consultation for my colonoscopy on Tuesday. Both Ophira and I are coincidentally, we established this before I hit record, getting colonoscopies on Tuesday, the same exact day. So we'll check in with each other.
Colonoscopies.
Yeah, I have to go deal with my health care because supposedly my insurance is turned off and I have no idea why. So you enjoy your prep and I'll go find out if I'm insured.
Are you?
Can I just say Ophira and Pete's colonoscopies are going to be done in tandem and the cameras are going to be like, it's going to be kind of like a Lady in the Tramp where they have that spaghetti between them. There's going to be cameras going up like their butts. Just their...
I'm doing it. Yeah, it's like dual. It's like couples massage.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you afraid of it, Ophira? Are you worried about having to do the drink and the poo poo and
yeah? I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
I would easily postpone this and maybe never do it at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the drugs. I'm not going to lie. I hear it's pretty good. Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's the greatest sleep ever. I'm like, you know what's also good? Sleep. What's wrong with you people? Jesus.
There's easier ways to get a good sleep.
What does it say that what does it say about me that I don't have anybody to pick me up when it's over? Is there everybody's busy? No.
I've got busy that day, Pete. Sorry.
I've got
Yeah, you know what? Let's pick up each other. I'll pick you up, Pete. I'll just be like, I'm picking up we'll both pick up each other, and be like dazed and confused and fentanyl and one
picking you up?
Two zombies walking the street in a sort of awkward fashion, because
still in hospital gowns.
All right. Well, we'll keep we'll check in and hopefully you get it straightened out and you do in fact get it over with on Tuesday, as I do. Thank you guys as always for joining me here, and I look forward to hopefully talking to you again next week. Thanks for all your kind words and thoughts and everything as well.
Bye.
Happy Mother's Day. Bye.
Happy Mother's Day.
All right, there you go. Christian Finnegan, Ophira Eisenberg. Thank you very much. Go follow them on all the social medias. Subscribe to New Music for Olds for Christian, and Parenting is a Joke for Ophira. And have a great weekend, a great Mother's Day. I love you guys. I so appreciate you. I can't do it without you. I'm going to get out there in the garden and get it all done this weekend. All right, maybe not all. And like Einstein said, I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. All right, wait, that can't be the quote of the day. But it is, I think, accurate about me. And it fuels this show. All right, how about this one? Look in the mirror. That's your competition. Nah, that one's cheesy. How about this one? All right, this is from Anne Frank. Everyone has inside of him a piece of good news. The good news is that you don't know how great you can be, how much you can love, what you can accomplish, and what your potential is. Okay, thanks, Anne Frank. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
You got to open up the window to let in some light. You got to stand up. That's right. You got to rise up. You got to stand up. You got to stare the devil straight in the eye. We got to let him know it's his turn to go. See it clear and all you hear is a lie. So get up off of your butt, get down off of your fence. Even if it ain't a very friendly audience, they'll begin to listen when you start making sense. And you stand up, stand up. No need to point your rifle to defend your town. Just stand up, stand up. You know they can't deny you what you're laying down. Oh, you better stand up, stand up. Show your face of every color, yellow, black, red, and brown. This is the place where every lost child will finally be found. There's only one thing to do before we stand our ground, and that's stand up, stand up. Well, the founding fathers saw a land for all. They had to stand up, they had to stand up. They had a keen imagination for a crystal ball, drawing all the plans of stand up. But all they had to go on was the time they were in, with other causes for laws, and since they weren't even sin, they knew that change was gonna come before the change could begin. They had to stand up. All right, they had to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to look the devil square in the eye. We gotta let him know it's his time to go, and make it clear when all we hear is a lie. Why you lying awake wondering where the money all went? see him flee the scene of that experiment. If you stand up, all right, we got to speak up, we got to reach up and raise your voice in every way you know how. Don't be toes up, you got to show up. Ain't no better time to do it but now. No need to pledge allegiance to no wanton tribe. Rise up, show obedience to the voice inside, and listen well and it'll tell you not to run and hide. It says stand up,